Shifting my wardrobe from summer to fall is always a challenge. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. Like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part, all Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts the cost of the middleman and passes on the savings to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes. I love that. Listen, I really have enjoyed the cashmere sweaters I've gotten, as well as a pair of pants, and I'm going to tell you, they are matched right with all the quality of the other things that I've purchased. It's been great. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/corp for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/corp to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/corp. What's up, y'all? Y'all are listening to Living Corporate's flagship podcast. If you didn't know, Living Corporate helps organizations build employee engagement and market trust through data analytics and data transformation, our e-learning platform, and brand marketing storytelling. We're so excited for you to be here today. The conversation you're about to hear is going to connect the dots between employee experience and go-to-market effectiveness. If you're not ready, get ready. Here we go. Kenneth Johnson, executive speaker. You hear? Okay.
I couldn't hear you at first.
Okay, cool. Making sure. All right, okay. So yeah, look, man, we're excited to have you here. In fact, hold on, let's do this. I'm gonna pause, start over. Okay. Kenneth Johnson, executive speaker, entrepreneur, all around just dope individual. Frankly, we've had these conversations off mic. I'm finally going to share a little bit of behind the scenes. Truly, Kenneth, it's hard, you meet, as a younger black, I'm not going to say I'm young, right? Because I'm not young like I was when we first met, Kenneth. I'm about to be 35. So like I'm young-ish. Yeah. But 35, you kind of grown at that point. But the point is, a lot of conversations I have behind the scenes with other black male millennials, it's harder when you're trying to engage like Gen Xer, baby boomer black men. There's a divide there. However, every time I reach out to you, it's always love. You're always willing to support, always looking to figure out ways for us to work and collaborate together. And man, I just want to give you your flowers in front of everybody, man. Bless you, man. Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Man, listen, thank you for having me, needless to say. Still sharpens steel and real recognizes real, right? You've always been a solid dude. I watch you from afar. I see you might be young, but you're making real mature moves, and I can appreciate that, brother. And I know you're doing it all, man. You're doing the business thing. You stepped out here and on faith, I'm sure, and on discipline and prioritizing what's important. And I know you're raising a family and everything. So I'm proud of you, man. And I'm proud to call you a friend.
Oh, man, I really appreciate that. And you're absolutely right. Look, I mean, at the time of this recording, it's Living Corporate is up on a year, right? It's a year of me doing this full time and really expanding, right? Because when we started as a singular podcast, we really were selling our services almost like brand storytelling and marketing. But then as we expanded, now we're really into like experience management work. So we're doing like data analytics and e-learning and other types of like more enterprise things, right? Things that I can sell you a tangible experience or service so that then I'm collecting something against that. So you're right. It's different. But yeah, man, look, this is not, hey man, look, this isn't Black Box, okay? You're not interviewing me, all right? I'm interviewing you, Kenneth. You don't come in here trying to take stuff over, okay? We're having a conversation to talk about you, brother. Now look.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
Oh,
whether
man.
It's the National League, whether it's Black Box, whether it's the former Career Seeker show, this is what I do. So I'm sorry if I go into that mode.
It's don't need to apologize. I was like, wait a minute, I'm over here talking about me like I'm not talking about like I don't have a guess, and I'm trying to highlight and platform and elevate and amplify rather. Listen, let's get right to it. You know, your background and your one part of your very illustrious background is in executive recruiting. It's interesting because when we first connected, you know, I just thought about, wow, like, you know, having like an executive recruitment firm that specializes or prioritizes Black and brown executives, I think is crucial and critical. It also feels like not playing with fire, but that just seems like that seems like a very specialized working space. And I remember we met probably right before the 2020, right before 2020, and we met before, of course, 2020 being the murder of George Floyd, the pandemic. And so tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like you probably had some experience of whatever was going on before 2020, then probably some peak interest, and then some lull. But talk to me about your journey, your experience over the past like 5 or 6 years, because we're going to talk about that Wells Fargo thing you posted. But talk to me about your journey, you know, again, the past 5, 6 years, what you've experienced and what you've seen, and then what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, so it's interesting, and you know what? This must be the day for that, because I had this conversation earlier today with a really, really interesting brother that has I think it's the Black Doctors Network, man, just sharp guy. But anyway, so prior to the murder of George Floyd, you know, we were doing business as usual, right? And COVID hit and business got slow, and then George Floyd was murdered and business picked up as companies started to platform their diversity, equity, and inclusion missions. And this was something we've been on for 23 years, right? How are you as an organization supporting Black talent specifically, right? And call it what you want, but we did that. We supported it through search, and typically executive search. And so when I say executive, people kind of get caught up in kind of levels, but let's just say manager, director, VP, C-suite search, right? Hoping that those people will get the opportunity to bring some other people along, right, on the journey. So that's the piece. We knew that window of opportunity that existed after, let's just say 2020, 2021, the window of opportunity would not be an open window for long. It's just the nature of the way people do business, right? Yeah. In corporate America. So we knew that, but I didn't think, you know, for us, we've always operated and succeeded in very.
Do you want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or needs some help with their homework? Maybe some homework you don't feel comfortable helping with because math is so different. All the things are so different now. Or maybe your child's ahead and not getting challenged enough in class. Well, let's talk about IXL Learning. It's an online learning program for kids. It covers math, language arts, science, and social studies. IXL is designed to help them really understand and master topics in a fun way with positive feedback. This program will improve your kids' grades. It's backed by research. Kids using IXL are scoring higher on tests. Studies done in almost every state in the country, the kids who had IXL are consistently doing better. It will work with any of your kids. Powered by advanced algorithms, IXL gives the right help to each kid no matter the age or personality. Save time. One subscription gets you everything. One site for all the kids in your home from pre-K to 12th grade. Save money. If your child is struggling, this is the smartest investment you can make. How smart are we talking? A single hour of tutoring costs more than a month of IXL. So don't miss out, because 1 in 4 students in the U.S. are learning with IXL. IXL is used in 95 of the top 100 school districts in the United States. So make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Living Corporate listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price.
Very murky waters, right? We you know, people come to us and they want to do business, but sometimes they want to do business because there's a lawsuit pending. sometimes they want to do business because they see the inequities in their own processes, right? So we're always working under a contingency, even though we're a retained search model. So not contingency in the state of the firm, but contingent on the way employers view us and want to bring our services into the conversation. We're fine with that because we believe that we're going to add extreme value. We're going to help change the global workplace. I honestly believe that anytime we place one person, it's that pebble into the ocean, right? You change the coastline forever. And that's what we're about, like changing the coastline. Now we want to create waves out here. We want to bring, a lot of people in, but we're working in a structured system that maybe doesn't allow for that type of impact. So we're just staying the course, and we've stayed the course for 23 years. So I wasn't surprised when things had shifted and people start saying it wasn't important to have DEI initiatives and missions and things of that nature. I knew it was coming, Zach. I've been out here for a while playing these games with these people, and I think I'm pretty skilled at it. So I knew it was coming. Would I have liked to have been better prepared? I didn't know that people were really going to completely shut the window, but it's okay. Everything's a season, and I have a firm belief that the work we do is important, and it'll be important again to maybe not at mass, but for the companies that really are committed and invested in equitable workplaces.
And it's interesting. I'm looking to the side because I want to pull up this post because it's challenging. It's challenging when. So, as a Black entrepreneur, right, you have every bit of confidence and knowledge that you're doing the work you're doing. It's not ornamental. It's not performative. It's not a check the box activity. It's real value added work at whatever scale you've determined. And so it's challenging sometimes when folks look for me. Let me not speak for you. For me, it can be challenging for me when then I see, like, you can just tell. And I think it's funny, man, like when you're on the margins, I think people on the margins, people, whether that's you're Black, you're brown, you're disabled, you're queer, especially if you're visibly disabled, you're queer. But if you are not Christian, if you're a woman, especially if you're a Black woman or brown woman, people on the margins are, by just force of culture and society, have to be more self-aware and emotionally intelligent than the average person. So, like, we can peep game. Oh, okay. You see me as a lick or as a thing to check a box to mitigate risk over here. Or you see me as something just to kind of dangle and dangle while you probably really give your real budget to your partners over here. And at the same time, to your point, it's like, well, okay, how much of that am I going to internalize? Because I what choice do I have? At the same time, it's like, damn, like I wish I would hope over time my value, the actual value can be realized, and you see beyond my skin color and see me beyond thinking I'm some type of gimmick to an actual viable enterprise partner for your strategic goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I always encourage. So even the candidates that we work with, and I don't like to get this confused. We work with companies that are looking to add diverse talent versus candidates that are looking to find an opportunity, right? So really, we like to build our partnerships with companies, and I think when companies build relationships and partnerships with us, typically they're sharing that they're committed to this, and I don't want to call it a fight, man, but I don't have another term for it. But it definitely is a battle, right? Because they're doing some internal fighting to even send me a check.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So somebody's fought to allow me to do the work that we do. And I respect that, and I acknowledge that from the companies that we work with, our clients and our partners. I think I have to acknowledge that, but there's a lot of let's just call it funny math going on out here. And you're right, there are people that are walking the walk to check a box. And I feel for anybody that's placed in that situation, because there's probably a lot of internal things that don't look like empathy going on in that workplace that probably are going to make it, I don't want to use the term nightmarish, but let's just say uncomfortable for the individual that takes the job. And let me tell you a story. So we had a client, big client, Zach, on the living corporate platform. I should release this client's name so we can just blow up the internet. But I'm going to give them some grace. I can't do it. I'm going to give them some grace. But what they told me, they wanted to work with us, right? And so I'm having conversations with the chief people officer, and we're just looking at data. And I said, hold on, you only hired 100 plus people. So somewhere around 108 people that year, that calendar year. And 2 of them could check the box as minority, outside a woman, right? One was Korean, one was Black. In New York City. And I'm like, okay, so that's intentional, right? Like, there's no way you couldn't find qualified candidates in this market. So that's intentional. So I asked the chief people officer, who's Korean as well, right? I said, I'm just curious, how did you let this happen? And she said, I was just head down working. I didn't even know until I looked at the
what is that? But what does that mean? Heads down working on what, Kenneth?
Yeah,
your job is people.
Your job is people, and more importantly, if you're not constantly, and here's where I'm headed with this, because we just had a post on LinkedIn kind of about how recruiters can impact their talent pipeline versus their talent pool, right? And one of the things is to stay connected to the data. Always check in and look. So if you waited a year for you to even see this number, that was problem number 1, right? Some things maybe could have been in place that had you viewing that information more frequently than annually to let you know what was happening within your ranks. And I don't know if it's changed, but I knew that they weren't the company for us, because I can't take Zach Nunn and place him in that organization and tap him on the back and say, good luck. Because I already know your luck's not going to be good, brother. I already know your luck is not going to be good.
But and here's the thing, right? Even in what you're sharing, there's an assumption of that talent, that people leaders, and people leaders is broad, right? Because people leaders is frankly anything under the umbrella of employee experience. So that can be recruitment and talent acquisition, talent attraction. That can be training and development. That can be employee engagement. That can be performance management, all the way to HR analytics, people analytics. It could be anything. I think most organizations, if you were to really ask them, like under oath, and they had to put a hand on whatever book of faith that they ascribe to, they would tell you that they're not really data driven like that. Like your top organizations, they have, of course, most organizations have some type of ATS, right? Some type of applicant tracking system. But to your point, right? Okay, let me look at your representational data across and at every level. But then also, let me look at your overall employee experience data. Let me connect this. Let me connect your performance data with representation data, with your sentiment data, with your benefits elections data. So that way I can say, okay, first of all, you got 100 senior leaders here. 2 of them are non-white. 17% are women. Of these women, 62% have a low sentiment or low degree of trust with their leadership. So like being empowered with that information at that level I think is critical and important, because then, to your point, if you were to talk to me, be like, all right, Zach, look, we got a bag for you. It's 385,000 base, negotiated, let me see, 40-something% bonus, up to 40-something% bonus. You get a 401k match, blah, blah, blah. And then me and you gonna have a conversation. Okay, that's cool. Hey, man, those numbers sound great. Oh, it's remote. You can fly. You just got to fly in every quarter, blah, blah, blah. Cool. And then, though, right, like, you as a partner or whoever, especially I would imagine at the executive level, like, I'm going to want to know, all right, cool, the bag, that's great. Now talk to me about what's really, what's going on. That's when you can have the insight, though, if you have the data.
Well, and here's the challenge, right? Fixing historical problems is exhausting. So then you're setting people up. I'm not even calling it burnout. You're setting them up for blaze out. Like, it's blaze out. Like, it's not going to be a slow burn, because you're sending me into something. My natural instinct is to fix it, but I'm not working with people that are designed in the same concept and mindset that I am. They might not want it fixed.
Right. They might be incentivized for it to stay the same.
Exactly. One way or another. Right. So I think, those are some challenges as well. So it's a delicate line sometimes for us. Initially, when we started the firm, a lot of the research that's available now wasn't available to us. So really, and I probably need to apologize for a lot of our early placements, because we were sending people they were firefighters.
Wow.
We were sending them in to fight fires, and we didn't know it because we didn't have access to that type of information. Neither did the company for
that matter.
For the most part, right? Yeah, for the most part. But so now that everybody has a little more information, especially there's public information out there, and there's information that you can ask for through this process that we call partnering for search. And I'm all about disaggregating the data so it allows us to have some conversations about real impact. We could recruit all day. We're the best in the world at doing that. But I think once we shifted our mindset to do this strategically and really be a business partner to an organization, and once we said all businesses and good business, it changed just the way I feel about it. And listen, I'm not saying it was the most positive thing for the bottom line over here at East Coast Executives, but I know from a mental wellness standpoint, Zach, I just felt much better about the work. And that's a big thing for me.
Man, you saying a bunch, you preaching a bunch of words, because all money ain't good money. Dominoes teach you that early, right? Tend to get in, but sometimes you might not want to put that 5 down. Big 15 coming back after that. So for those who know, what I'm saying. We'll talk about it another time. The point is, like, man, the piece of terminating like bad business or just not taking on certain business, it really can't be matched. And you're right. Like, your bottom line won't immediately thank you, but your long-term bottom line will. And beyond whatever that's about, your mental health will too. Because, man, like, and what I realize, man, is sometimes you can burn out. I love flame out. I love blaze out, rather. That's fire. That, no pun. That is, and I'm taking that. I'm full-time Jack move. I'm taking that. But I need that. But the thing about it, you can over-index on chasing or trying to keep bad money and then not have capacity to make good money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I get it. And so here's the thing. I love to stay positive in conversations, especially conversations with positive people. Actually, I'm only having that. 2024, I'm only having conversations with positive people out here. And that's why I always enjoy having conversations with you. Like you said, when we initially linked, it was I already knew this was a long-term thing. I said, oh, this is a brother I'm going to know for life.
It's been like 5 years though. Yeah. Like I looked up, I was like, yo, we've been talking for several years.
We text about, I'm just asking about your little people, man. Like you're a friend out here. So, and speaking to that, I like to work with potential friends as well. One of the beautiful things that happened over the past 5 years, and I know that's kind of where you started this, is that we started to get a really good look at who was on the team, or who was in the same league with us, right?
Yeah.
And I say that on a couple different sides of the fence. I've made some relationships with some recruiters that I haven't had either. Like, just listen, I'm an elder statesman in this game right now, so I want to do what people did for me, man. I grew up in an unbelievable environment, a recruiting environment with brothers that literally were doing their thing out in Philadelphia. And I can just start, I'll rattle, man, listen, well, Bernard Johnson, Lamont Owens, all these brothers, man, executive search, these dudes had real situations going and they were working with really good clients. And I got to watch it from a front row seat, actually got to be part of the team. And, so I'm very open. Like I said, we're a retained search firm, but we get a lot of contingency search requests. And I'm very comfortable with reaching out to other recruiters that I know are out here doing what I used to do 20, 15 years ago. And they're just trying to stay afloat right now. And we all are at a certain level. But I love being that person that says when they reach out on LinkedIn or whatever, and I'll say, yeah, you know what, let's have a conversation. And then I can leave that conversation saying, hey, I got something that might be of interest to you. And people did that for me. So I'm just excited about being at a space and a place mentally, because we're all trying to do business and get revenue. But mentally being in a space where I can say, I'm not competing, man, we're collaborating over here. So what you want to do?
It's a beautiful thing. And, it's funny, man, I was just talking to somebody about this, is like, and some of it I think definitely comes from like historical trauma. And so like not gonna wag my finger at nobody. We don't really do that as a platform. Sometimes, man, some of these spaces may come together, man, and be like, pull your pants up and stop using slang and then you'll get a job. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you won't. And so, but my biggest thing is, man, it's like, man, do you want to own 100% of nothing or 30% of something? Right? Like I've had that conversation with folks all the time. Look, man, you make jelly. My uncle got a peanut farm and you make bread. Let's come together and sell some sandwiches, dog.
Yes.
And so like, that's to me, like, that's the biggest thing. But look, I got to give you your flowers because I'm going to tell you what my pride, one of my personal things I love. I love it. And I'm calling you an old head in love. I love it when my executive unks go on social media and call out name brands. That's like one of the things I like. I enjoy it because when y'all do it, it's not like younger folks. We don't need a lot, right? We hair triggered, so we gonna react, and it really ain't nothing. Sometimes like you could have kept that, but when y'all say something, it's because you've been sitting on fire, right? So. And I love it. I love what you said in terms about the why we need diversity recruiters. You called out, you talked about the fact that you reached out to the CEO of Wells Fargo, Charles Scharf, who at the time said there's very limited pool of black talent to recruit from. You reached out, offered your support. You were eager to support, right? You do this work. You got no engagement, no response, just silence. And now that same organization is facing a securities class action lawsuit for misleading investors about how they were trying to diversify the workforce. And let me drop some extra tea, since we all live in corporate. I'm gonna tell the truth. At that time, we had people from that organization reach out to us. They asked us for a proposal. We sent it, and guess what, Kenneth? Ain't nothing happened. So I appreciate, again, this is me giving flowers of, I appreciate the work and leadership that you're doing, especially in this season. And man, we got to come back and do a part 2 before Q4 is over, because, this landscape where layoffs are becoming more of the operational norm.
Yes.
And frankly, like a lever that we're pulling to maintain positive profit, right? Because I think that's the misleading thing is people aren't laying off folks to make a profit. They're laying off folks to maintain profit growth, right? So that's it's not like a lot, like all these, and if the numbers are there, right? This is not me trying to disrespect corporations, even though like, who cares? But like, this is about being honest about like the numbers are out there. Corporations have actually been more profitable in this season than ever. So it's not about the fact that they're laying them off to like necessarily like stay afloat. They're laying them off so we can maintain profits for our shareholders. And so like with that being the landscape though, like we got to have another conversation about the implications for Black executives in this landscape. Like I can tell you without naming names off mic, I'm having conversations with leaders who saying, look, I want to do this and I want to do that, but it's kind of crazy. So I'm chilling. You know what I mean? Like give us a taste of that, and then we'll let you go. But talk like really quick. Like if you could share your observations of just like the job market and like what, like again, like the constant stream of layoffs. I want to say, Eventbrite just had layoffs last week. We're seeing layoffs happening almost every other day, especially across the tech sector, but other places too. What are you seeing in that context, and what are the implications for the work that you do?
Yeah, so it's interesting. This is going to sound, of course, we operate best when everything's in growth mode, right? But again, I'm going to come back to you with this, and you're going to understand it immediately. It depends on where the layoffs are happening. If there are companies that didn't care about what it is that we do, let them go. We got them. Because we're going to, passive talent comes into the game that becomes more active talent because they're they're leaving an opportunity. They didn't want to leave. They were laid off. So they were passive talent, never looking at the things that we're working on. And then you're in the market. So now if we're front facing and talking our truth, then maybe they come over to us and say, hey, listen, just got let go from X, Y, Z. I'm trying to get somewhere. And I'll tell them. I just spoke to someone today. She introduced me to somebody that's a unicorn. And I said, listen, all I need to do is have a conversation with that person. If they give me a bucket list of 5 companies that they're interested in, I'll align that conversation. I have no problem reaching out and saying, look what we got right here. This is the talented person, and they're looking for opportunities. Do you just want to have a conversation? And we have built up a base of clients that we believe that we have opportunities to present people to our clients that we know are committed to this work, that also are committed to growing with great talent. And if we can present those people, then we can connect the two, and hopefully everybody's happy for years to come. But so I look at it again, no negative conversations. So I just take it. Look, that's happening over there. Look, congratulations. I told one lady, she came to me and said she got laid off. I said, congratulations, because we're getting ready to get it. We're getting ready to set fire to this, and we were able to place her in a great opportunity where she thought it was the worst day of her life, but in theory, I think it was probably one of her better days.
Man, Kenneth Johnson, again, executive recruiter, speaker, leader. Yeah. Listen, Black Men Excel. I know that you're involved in that again. Let me give you some space before we get up out of here. Where can people learn about everything you got going on? We're going to put the links in the show notes, but tell us more about what you got going on, where people can learn more about you, where they can find you.
Yeah, look, we're excited, man. But you can go to eastcoastexecutives.com and pretty much tap into everything that we have going on. I'm heavy on LinkedIn. I stay there. I love the platform. I think it serves us well. And by us, I mean collective, a workplace collective. I think we can see what we need to see there. So I'm a big proponent of that. But yeah, so LinkedIn, EastCoastExecutives.com. You can catch me November 8th and 9th in Miami with Black Enterprise for Black Men Excel. Love that platform. Love supporting brothers. TEDx Harlem. We're doing that in Harlem again in 2024. This is our 5th TEDx Harlem edition. So I'm excited about that. And of course, we're reconfiguring Black Box, Zach. Woo! I can't even talk about that. I can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
But we're coming. We're getting bigger and better and maybe a little more strategic. Probably a complete revamp, but it's time. We're not going to stand still for no one.
Man, I love it, man. I love the energy. To your point about positive thinking, positive framework, and frankly, a mindset for growth, which if you're thinking about an executive recruiter, or rather an executive talent and dot connector, that's a critical mindset to have. Look, it's a pleasure to have you always. I'm not joking about that part too. Till next time, brother, we'll catch up. Peace.
Let's do it.
Living Corporate is a podcast by Living Corporate LLC. Our logo was designed by David Dawkins. Our theme music was produced by Ken Brown. Additional music production by Antoine Franklin for Musical Elevation. Post-production is handled by Jeremy Jackson. Got a topic suggestion? Email us at livingcorporatepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us online on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and living-corporate.com. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned.